Hello everyone, welcome to the Nighttime Tea Review. This is your host, Lily Rivers. Tonight we continue our journey into space with To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. So settle in with your beverage of choice, in my case some tea, and let's get started. So we begin with part 1 of the book, which is Exogenesis, and chapter 1, Dreams. I'm going to read the opening paragraph of the chapter. The orange gas giant, Zeus, hung low above the horizon, huge and heavy and glowing with a ruddy half-light. Around it glittered a field of stars, bright against the black of space, while beneath the giant's lidless glare stretched a gray wasteland streaked with stone. So right away, get a description, which I like, and also, I figured this book would be very descriptive because the Eragon series, and I'm obviously trying to compare them, like, obviously, what they're about, but his writing, he's definitely very, very descriptive, which I like because it definitely paints the picture down to the last detail, and I know that when I read the other books, there was times when I was so immersed, that everything around me was kind of like I wasn't even here, I was in the books, I was in the world, because he's just so descriptive, and it seems like he's doing the same thing here, which is pretty awesome. So, it's in the point of view of Kira, and she's talking about, where she's at and what she's doing. She's working in a lab on a compound where they're at, and she describes it as being, cramped, and she's trying to, fix or move, she's trying to move, gene sequencer. And she cuts her palm, and she talks about being a xenobiologist for the expedition for the team. And she talks about, preparing to leave, and how she's bummed about that, because the team that she's with's kind of become like a family, and also because one of the people on that team is her boyfriend Alan, who she met on another assignment a while back, and they've been doing the whole long distance thing because they don't always manage to get assigned to the same place together. She does also mention, so they work for the Lapsang Corp, which does this thing where they essentially scope out like new places for colonists to go and set up shop. And her team, what she does, she's part of the preparedness team, I guess you'd call it, where they go and catalog everything and make sure everything's ready for the colonists, essentially, to just move in and be like, hey, everything's safe, you can come here and do the rest of the work. But they kind of do the initial groundwork. They're on an Earth-sized moon called, and I'm probably gonna butcher this, I am sorry, Adrastea, which later she shortens to just Adra. And they're going to leave that moon the next day, and she's just really lamenting how she's going to be apart from Alan again, and they've put a request through the corporate so they can be assigned as a couple together, but she's saying by the time they actually get it, it's going to be too late. We're going to be in completely different places already, and it could be like months to a year before she ever sees him again, which really sucks for her, And she's also talking about how she's going to miss, her friends and everything, and they go to the little get-together to the party, and which at first she doesn't really want to go to. She's like, nah, screw this, like, I don't really feel like going. But Alan convinces her that she put in an appearance, and, you can tell she really loves him, because she even talks about how, the only way that they could really, conceivably be together is if they found different kinds of jobs, so they wouldn't have to travel so much, And she says, that she would be ready to give up her career with the company for him, but she doesn't want to ask that of him because she doesn't know that, she thinks it's too soon for that. So, she's just thinking about tomorrow's going to be my last day with them and with him. And then her expedition boss, Mendoza, tells her, hey, I need you to do something in the morning with me tomorrow because they detected something. And the way that she talks about him, here's a couple of sentences from Page 21 says, she'd often wondered if he'd grown up on a high G colony like Shinzar, but Mendoza denied it when she asked, claimed he was from a hab ring somewhere around Alpha Centauri. She wasn't entirely sure she believed him. So, there's all these other colonies, so far and wide, we're pretty much everywhere, it seems like. I'm assuming humans. Don't know yet if they've made contact with anybody else, and, that's when he tells her that they detected some sort of organic material, and they need to check it before they leave. And her being the xenobiologist kind of is forced to go, and she's kind of like, ugh, like, screw this, I don't want to do it. He's gonna make me miss, more time with Alan that I'm already, limited time, I'm running on limited time with him. So she's just like seriously, like, just kind of like when your boss asks you to do something you really don't want to do. Yeah. And then, just while she's at the party, their characters get introduced. Her teammates, a couple of names are thrown out there. So she begrudgingly is like, yeah, let's go, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, like, great. And, they continue on with the party, and, they dance, they drink, they have a good time, and then her and Alan make their getaway. They slip out, and they make their way through the compound, and they're still, they've got their drinks in their hand, and they end up in the hydroponics bay. And they're just, like, hey, I'm gonna miss you, and apparently it's Kira's favorite place in the compound. Here's a quote from page 23 that says, it reminded her of home, of the long rows of hothouse gardens she'd spent time in as a kid on the colony planet of Wayland. During the long haul expeditions like the one to Adra, it was standard procedure to grow some of their own food. So that's why they have it there, and it reminds her of home. And he has a surprise for her. He grows midnight constellations for her, which is a kind of flower. And she says that, they're pretty hard to grow. And she describes them. Here's a quote from page 24. In each pot stood a tall, thin stem topped with a delicate purple flower that drooped under its own weight. A cluster of pollen-tipped stamens extended from within each blossom, like bursts of fireworks, while white speckles adorned their velvety inner throats. Honestly, those flowers sound beautiful. I would love to have flowers like that. So he does all this for her, and, they're having a moment, and she's just thinking, like, I can't keep doing this. We're not going to get any time together. And, she's like, it's not going to get any easier, and I love you, I don't want to say goodbye, this really sucks. And then he's like, yeah, I can't do it either, I can't. And then he tells her that they should apply to be colonists, because, it's a pretty permanent, they'd be able to be together, and she's kind of like, wait, like, he's being serious, like, she just can't believe it that, he's actually making this offer to her. And she even tells him, like, yeah, like, it's because we're drunk, it's the drink talking. But he's like, no, like, I'm serious. She can't quite believe it's happening, but, she wants this, she wants to be with him. But she's kind of like, we don't have the best odds because they only take what they want. Pair bonded couples, which I'm guessing it's just straight up marriage. So she's like, that. Us and kind of telling him, like, hey, we're not married. We're not, they only take those kind of couples. And he's like, I know. And that's when I was like, oh, I see where this is going. And yes, he proposes to her. Very sweet proposal. Which I will read. The lump in Alan's throat bobbed as he swallowed. Kira Navares, you asked me once what I saw among the stars. I told you I saw questions. Now, I see you. I see us. He took a breath. Kira, will you do me the honor of joining your life with mine? Will you be my wife, as I will be your husband? And then he gets cut off by her, and she's like, yes, yes, yes. I thought that was a sweet way to propose. And interesting that he tells her that the ring is made of iron. And he tells her that he had one of the other team members smelt it for him because it represents the bones of Adrastea. And she describes the ring, it's iron band, and it has a stone she calls tesserite, which is more of like a purple, so I'm guessing it would look a little bit like amethyst, which is one of my favorite stones. So that's pretty cool. I can kind of picture that it'd make a nice ring, I think. And you know, they say their I love yous, and it's kind of like, fuck man, we're really gonna do this? And it's like, yep. And that's pretty much the end of chapter 1. What did I think about chapter 1? I love chapter 1. I thought it was a good introduction. You kind of get a little bit of a feel for why they're there, what they're doing. Obviously, it doesn't give you the full details of how everything else is around the world, but to me, that's also, it makes me want to keep reading, because I want to find out, you know, how did humans get from, you know, what is now Earth to here, and, you know, when it comes to the labs and you know, sending out expeditions and teams and stuff to colonize other places, like how far spread, you know, are they? What's more, you know, what do they do more in depth? Obviously, and I'm pretty sure that we will get answers. So I'm definitely really excited to keep reading the book, and I will be doing, hopefully, I want to try and do more than one chapter for the next episode, but I obviously didn't know. Sometimes when you get talking about a book, it takes a while, so I don't want to say, yeah, like, I'm going to do 2, 3, and then have it be, like, you know, an hour almost, or, you know, over 30 minutes, really. I definitely feel like it is relatable, too, because, I mean, especially with how technology is now, that it's very much, like, the long-distance relationship thing, so that's definitely really relatable. And then just, to me, like, the whole, like, her having to constantly move around and to leave, like, something that she views as a family, you know, her team that she views as a family, like, I can relate to that. And it was definitely like, yeah, like, I totally get that. And I feel like it's something a lot of people can relate to, because at some point you know, we all have to move on from some place or from something. And, you know, I was able to connect with that. I mean, I love reading in general, but I feel like when you can connect with something like that, it definitely makes it a little bit more like, hey, like, yeah, I get how she feels. And I definitely do that a lot with characters when I read. I mean, I don't try to, but it just kind of happens. So, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen next. And obviously, because I read the excerpt, which was the only thing I really did read before I got the book, I know that something's gonna go down, so it's not gonna be smooth sailing for her. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be the next couple of chapters, but I mean, something's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be all like, yeah, it's totally, like, easy and fine, and, you know. And I think it's also really interesting because they do mention, I believe they call it scram rock. I don't think I've ever heard of that kind of music, so there's definitely a lot of things that are different, which is to be expected, you know, considering, but, you know, I definitely, even before the first chapter, I would recommend people to buy this book. After the first chapter, even more so. I'm definitely biased, though, because I do like Christopher Paolini's writing, so great job, Christopher, once again, and I can't wait to read the next chapters. So I did receive the Fractal Verse enamel pin, and I did unbox that today. Well, it'll be irrelevant. It was on different days. It doesn't matter. But it came in just one of those bubble mailing envelopes, and it was in this really nice black box. And there was a little note inside. It was typed out. It's really nice detail, in my opinion. And it just read, this beautiful Fractal Verse enamel pin was made in partnership with the Folks at Monterey Company. The 7 stars, each one 7-sided, symbolize not only to sleep in a sea of stars, but also the 7 major colonies found within the book, the 7 crew members of the Wallfish, and the 7 words in the title, which pretty awesome. and it's just, you know, it was in there. It's really nice. You know, as far as pins go, it doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off. I did wear it for a little bit today. It doesn't feel like, you know, when you have it on, like it's like, oh my god, it's gonna fall somewhere and I'm gonna lose it. And it has a really nice finish. It's not chipping, it's not scratched. It has a really, really nice finish. So it definitely will be getting more than one. Obviously not now, but I can't just have one. I definitely will want probably a couple more in the future. I will be putting the link in the description box to Christopher's Etsy shop, just in case anybody's interested. And I have, obviously, as I've been talking, the pictures inserted on screen of the bit. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for listening, and until next time.